Working on the battery pack, we're locking the warning. Now the pressure rising in space, pop goes in the air.
Conventions in space!
Citrine right away. What's you need those for? Okay. Awesome, Josh. So ones are dead. Where should we start? Ben is busy. Pretending. Fine. Good. You know what I want to talk about?
What would you like to talk about?
Elevators.
All right, let's talk about something else.
Oh no. I'm going to talk about where it began.
Oh, science fiction convention.
Oh. I'm talking the Adams Park Hotel, Philadelphia. 4 elevators installed in 1971 that were renovated. The elevators at the Adams Park Hotel, which was Anthracon's home for 4 years in Philadelphia, were legendary. Legendary. The Dorsey regulars, our security crew, gave them names. They were Hades, Sir Speedy, Confused, and Bob. Hades, when the doors would open, you would get in and the doors would close. And it would take you to your floor. And then the inner doors would open, but the outer doors would not. Sir Speedy would take you in the course of 6.5 seconds to the 23rd floor from the lobby, no matter what button you push. Confused was similar. You would push a button and Confused would go to a floor. Possibly the floor you selected, possibly not. So it became something of a gamble. You would go in and push maybe 3 random buttons and hope it would get you close. Bob liked to equilibrate himself because the doors would open and the floor would be here, and then Bob would go. That's when all of them would work. Sometimes none of them would work. That was the year that Renegade, my security chief, Renegade, you guys, his little daughter, Samantha, she was, I think, 12 at the time. Brand new, you know, young child, Dorsey regular. They brought her to the convention for her first time. She's a little girl. We will give her an easy duty so that she will feel that she is part of the staff and that she's making a contribution. We will let her handle the elevator lines. Because that's easy. Well, Renegade, after an hour, went back to check on Samantha. Little 12-year-old Samantha was taking bets. Okay, we have 15 on Sir Speedy, 15 on Sir Speedy. I got 15 Sir Speedy. No, it's Confused. Oh well, sorry. She had in her pocket $1,800, 4 pixie sticks, 6 lollipops, and 2 Hershey Kisses. She gave all the money to the charity, but she kept the candy. To this day, To this day, the Dorsai call her Bookie.
Don't forget her calling as confused. Her favorite one to announce for was confused because they did have the lights that you could watch above the. Confused is going up to 7 at a time, 3 right now. Now it's back down to 2. It's gone. No longer existing. So Speedy is on the moon. Bob is on 5. It was wild. This was great. And no one mind waiting in the elevator line that year. How's that going?
Hey, Ken, what do you think?
Why did I look? We had a minor, it wasn't a furry con, it was just a gathering for New Year's at a very small hotel. And for some reason, this hotel had those, some of you have seen them, they're pads on the outside of the elevator that you choose your floor before you walk into the elevator. Have you seen these things? Yeah. But once you get in the elevator, there's no buttons. And furries are shy by nature to start with. And I got to watch an amazing experience. It was like watching the Discovery Channel that was actually filming furries. Because a furry went to the elevator, the doors opened because somebody was getting off, and he stepped onto the elevator, and the doors closed. Now I know he can't make the elevator move from where it is. So I just sat there watching the elevator door, wondering how long till he hits the door open button. Another group of people came over, and I watched the greatest single moment in shy history. They hit the elevator button, the doors opened, he walked out, and like a man tripping who looks behind him to see what tripped him, he walked out of the elevator and did this. My floor. I love how shy you are. Push the door open button next time. Try again.
Thank you kindly, sir. Oh, is it my turn?
Yes.
What panel is this?
Convention horror stories, which we're about to tell you the time that you forgot what panel it was.
Picture it. The panel's already started. The German's finally walking in 10 minutes late.
So there's a convention horror story that just happened.
Yeah, that happens at some conventions.
We just don't tell you what's happening at yours. We'll tell you on Monday.
Oh, convention horror stories. So what story should I tell?
Hey, Pandez,
Yes.
do you remember that time we got a water feature in operations?
Oh, yes. When we had the unexpected waterfall installed. So picture it, back at the Sheraton a few years back. I forget which year it was probably the second year there, I believe.
Yes, it was.
And we were in convention operations, and all of a sudden there was a... We're looking at it, oh, there must be some condensation up there. So they came in and we called the hotel and like, oh, we'll put a little under. We'll go away. And then we're walking around the convention center and run into one of the door side and say, oh, we need to head back to the...
It was Mystery Science Theater.
Oh, Mystery Science. Sorry, turning off my radio. So we were at Mystery Science Theater, and what exactly did happen? Was it a door side that came in, or was it was the hotel liaison?
Yes.
The hotel liaison, that's right. Was it Tanya? Oh, I remember Tanya. Tanya. For those of you who might remember. Oh, yeah. Anyway. That's a different story. But the hotel liaison came in and pulled us out of the room. And she's like, oh, what's wrong? We're in the middle of a panel. What can we do? What's going on? She's like, well, we just wanted to make sure you were enjoying the new water feature we installed in convention operations. And we were like what, you put a fountain in there or something? Like, no, you have a waterfall in convention operations. What do you mean a water? Like is that like a chocolate fountain? Like do we have bananas to dip in it? That actually sounds delicious. She's like, no. Apparently somebody had decided to run a bath and decided to then lay down while it was filling
and fell asleep while the back was filling on the 6th floor. Convention operations was on the 2nd floor. That's how far down the water came. It filled up the tub, flooded that hotel room down into the room below, flooded that hotel room down to the room below, and so on, till it hit the 2nd floor.
And as responsible convention operations team, what was the first thing that you asked her? You remember
This
it?
is gonna cost us.
Close. Was it one of ours? And she looked at him, and a huge smile went over her face. She goes, nope.
And I went from, oh, I'm still upset, but oh. When someone at not your convention messes up, not part of my con, not part of my con.
There was something similar related incident happened in an unnamed convention in Florida. What? I didn't say it.
Nothing.
An unnamed furry convention in Florida, where a fursuiter got out of his fursuit and wanted to hang his fursuit up because you want them to dry. And he was looking around for something to hang the fursuit. Oh, that would be good. Well, that is called a sprinkler. It's a misnomer. It is designed to deliver a large amount of water in a very short period of time. It's not actually a sprinkler. It should more properly be called the hellacious, powerful gusher of God. It scoured the plaster from the ceiling and basically just blasted the room to pieces before flooding the 6 floors beneath it. The funny part is, this isn't the first time it happened. It was years ago at a science fiction convention in Washington, D.C., was it, I believe? I'm looking at one of the door signs in the back. How do they know these things? Where it was a similar sort of thing, but apparently this convention had hosted a bondage panel. And they were talking about suspension, and some people decided to go back to their room and try it. Yeah, that looks like a good spot. That convention actually had to change its name and come back the next year and say, oh no, that's not us.
Well, you know they weren't engineers, because if it was about suspension, they would have built a bridge.
The funniest part is the parties involved were police officers. The handcuffs just weren't enough for them. What was that? You have a story, don't you, Alkali?
Yes. Would you guys like to hear about the time we assaulted a police officer at a bachelor party?
Is that a con
Is that a con story?
I mean, it's a bachelor party. No, so we're not going to tell that. Or a 300 monster. I'll do that one at a 300 monster.
How about the rave? Basement?
So have you guys noticed that the fandom has started to put a lot more programming on Thursday night? That's your fault. People have come up to me and said, I'm really sad that you put that panel on Thursday night. I had to miss it. Like, yeah, but it kept everybody else doing something instead of holding a rave in my basement. The very first year of Fur Squared, we had one thing running on because who's going to come out to a brand new convention on a Thursday night? Who's going to do that? A lot of people are going to do that. You have free time and currency, and it is scary. So we had Artemis running, a Starship bridge simulator, and people were starting to find it, and they were loving it, but it only played 6 people at a time. So 6 people would be playing the game, the next 6 would be waiting for their turn, and everyone else had a rave in the hallway in the basement of our hotel. They had they did it. They had a light switch rave. Brought down a boombox and just went for it. And my hotel liaison comes running up to me. Running! Dan! They're having a rave in the basement. Did you organize this? Like, oh God, no, I promise you I didn't. Like, that's too bad. It's really cool. And she reached in her pocket, broke a glow stick, and ran downstairs. I will never leave this hotel. But I was terrified.
Oh, my turn again.
Yeah, just my turn. Sanders.
Yes?
Yeah. Why was there such a laugh when someone said, "Oh, hell no"?
Let's tell that story. So here at this convention, back at the Sheraton, a few years ago, we had the theme. Or no, it didn't have anything to do with theme. We had a year where we were sharing the convention space, or the hotel, not the convention space, with a fraternity group. The fraternity and the furries were not getting along as much as we would have liked. Not the furries' fault. It was the bros. They were, like calling us names and picking on us. You guys were just whatever, leave us alone. And it culminated on Saturday, early afternoon, about 2:30. And a furry comes in and goes, "So I just had an incident with one of the frat boys." Okay, we need to put this in the log. What happened? Well, a couple of us were on the whatever floor, and the elevator opens up, and we go to get on, and there were some of the fraternity boys in there, and they were like, "Nope, you can't come on the elevator." And we were like, "What?" And they were like, "Nope, you cannot come on this elevator." And the door started to close, and one of them leaned out and went, "You ain't Rosa Parks, you're not getting on this bus." What? So they came and they explained this having happened to them. So we decided to call our hotel liaison, Tanya, a wonderful, sassy, skinny African-American lady. And we called her and we were like, "Tanya, we have a minor issue. And we need to let you know about it." She's like, "Oh, what's going on? How can I help? Let me know." And we're like, "Okay, well, this happened and this happened." And she's nodding along, like, "Okay, yeah, this is relatively minor, but I'm going to go talk to them about it. This happened." And then this was the latest incident. And it culminated with the closing the doors. "You ain't Rosa Parks, you're not getting on this bus." And her expression went, "Oh, hey!" I heard the roadrunner, and boom. Our head of finance, Todd, was right beside her, was like, "No." About 15 minutes later, there are signs up everywhere. "All fraternity members, emergency meeting in 1 hour." Apparently they had a little lecture because we did not have any more complaints for the rest of the evening. Sort of. Because they started to get along a little too well.
I'm responsible for part of that because I attempted to establish a bit of détente myself. Bunch of these boys were in the lobby. Remember that hotel, the lobby, we went down the escalators? They had something like this big. And it was full of booze, and they were taking these little sips from it and then getting all giggly like a bunch of girls. And I watched them do this, and I walked up and I said, excuse me, and I took it and I downed the thing and said, "Amateurs." expected me after that.
So later that evening, a couple of the fraternity members are there, and some of the furries walk along, and the bros are like, "Come on, sit down, have a seat, sit down." So the bros are on the one side, the furries on the other, and they're kind of casually drinking, and bros are like, "Take it up, take it up, take it up, take it up," to take off their fursuit head. So the furries did, and they kept drinking. The furries went, "Put it on." The fraternity brothers put the fursuit heads on, and we're drinking in fursuit head. The other furries were like full bodies, no head. And more of the bros kept coming up behind the bros, and more of the furries behind the furries, and all of a sudden you have Bro Furry Fest. Half of the lobby, fraternity brothers, half of the lobby, furries, and they are just trying to outdrink each other, but not caring who actually wins because they're all winners for drinking. Now, I did not witness this because I was busy being involved with being inebriated elsewhere, which is a separate story entirely.
Yes.
But our head of finance, Todd, walks out onto the second floor, which is where the convention space is, and all of a sudden he hears, "Drink, motherfudger, drink, motherfudger, drink!" It wasn't
It
the
was
PG
not
version of
delicious
that.
chocolate.
It was not delicious chocolate that they were yelling about. And his eyes go, slowly walks over to the edge and looks down. Oh my! Oh my! And he looks up, and across there's a little balcony that was right behind the con ops room, so that the door side could look out and check the main events floor. And he just looks open and he goes, and the door side points to the hotel that people, the staff that are at the front desk watching this whole thing. And Thomas goes, and the hotel staff just go. He walked down later, he's like, "Are you sure that, no, they're finally getting along, let's just let them drink." So that was fun.
You should ask the Dorsai regulars sometime about their, I think the second time they worked at Magfest. They like to tell the story because Renegade, the chief of security in African, still treasures the security log. He gives a very detailed security log. And his security log, their second year there, began with the paragraph, "Despite the appearance of police in full riot gear, the convention was remarkably quiet." You want horror stories, talk to the door side. Their traditional story begins with, "No shit, there I was."
Why do you want to invite them to this panel? Because their stories would outshadow.
Oh, don't ask me, it's your con.
Do you have them at Con Horror Stories at your convention?
I don't ask them to, they just show up.
They are the convention worst. I think some of you know this. I have the honor of being in the Doorside book as of last year.
Really?
Yep, and Renegade has actually ransomed the page that is on, because last year, how do I put this politely? You fuckers got me drunk. And I don't mean happy-go-lucky alkali drunk, I mean I'm a performer now and loud! Whee! But the convention was over for the night and I was just performing to an empty room, so I went to look for an audience.
Pathetic, dude.
You have no idea. I went into this hallway right here in the atrium, sat down in a chair, and as someone walked by, I decided to make up their life story. I don't know why. It involved a lot of terrible things, and they were intrigued. And they sat down, and my hat was on the table, and they threw in a 5 to hear more of the story of them and the flaming enema. It was a Harry Potter style story.
Alkali and the flaming enema.
It was magical, and it was Wingardium Leviosa. versa. So, after a while, people start realizing what's going on, and they want their own stories, and money kept going into the hat. And what I didn't see were the two plainclothes police officers that were watching the tall, drunk man sit there and panhandle. And they went to the hotel. The hotel said, well, that's probably part of the furry thing. They sent them to operations. And the head of security, Rennie, was sitting in there for the night. They go, yes, there's a gentleman sitting out in the atrium panhandling to a bunch of random people. And he goes, was he really tall, fat, loud, and obnoxious? And the cop goes, yeah. He goes, that's our director of finance. And there is an entry in the book that goes as follows. Alkali was caught panhandling in the atrium. Didn't make enough money. Try again next year.
For those of you who might not have ever run into Renegade, your classic early 20th century Currier and Ives image of Santa Claus, little, jolly old elf, chubby little fellow with rosy cheeks and a big white beard and a twinkle in his eye, kind of Cajun accent. That's Rennie. He is Father Christmas on holiday. It's amazing. The funny part about Rennie is he projects this Father Christmas image. That's today. I'll take you back to the 1970s when Rennie was a U.S. Army Special Forces operative in Vietnam. He did 3 tours there, Airborne Ranger. There's so many stories about Rennie, I hardly know where to begin, but one of my favorites was at a convention in Chicago, strangely enough. He was in a hotel that was not the main hotel. There was a short walk through a city street to get to the main hotel, and Rennie was on his way to the duty station. Now, this story was told to me by another one of the Dorsai. And what I appreciate about the Dorsai is they don't embellish the stories because they don't have to. There's no way you can. You cannot embellish the stories. Rennie was walking there, and a young urban-dwelling gentleman leaped out from an alley with a knife and said something to the effect of, "Give it up, old man." And Rennie looked at him and shook his head sadly and said, "Son, you need to find another line of work." And he started walking on, and the young gentleman lunged at Rennie with the knife. And the next thing he knew, his arm was twisted behind his back, and his face was shoved against a dumpster, and his little Santa Clausy beard in his ear was saying, "I told you, son, you need to find another line." So Rennie took the knife away from him and just left him there. And as it was described to me, as Rennie got to the hotel and went up to the operations office and tossed the knife into the box with all the others. That's why he's my security chief.
I'm not making a toast. What should I talk about next, Outlaw?
I'm going to say hi to Siku back there. That's my dog back there, that's Siku. I just love him all to pieces, yeah. Isn't he cute? Isn't he cute?
Hey, guys.
Yes.
Have you ever been a board member at a convention where the chairman sat on a condor?
You don't talk about the 4th floor incident.
I love doing that to him.
It's been 2 years. We can talk about
It is totally, yes, the 4th floor incident. You said we could talk about it. Now do it.
Okay. So, once again, an event that happened during MST3K. Why do we keep running this panel?
The new name for MST3K is just
Mistake. There's a reason it's called that, because every time we run it, something happens. So, there we are. Alkali and myself. We're doing MST3K. It's the faculty. And water. When anytime there's water on screen, you had to drink. There's water in every scene. Like, there's bottles of water, there's fountains of water. It's raining. Oh my God, 8,000 droplets of water.
Dude, it was a Jacques Cousteau special.
And we're sitting there and we're drinking and we're trying to entertain everyone in there. And all of a sudden, our head of finance comes in and taps this man on the shoulder, and the two of them walk out. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Must have been a thing that came up that Todd wanted to talk about. About 15, 20 minutes goes by. Okay, what's going on? And Todd comes back and taps me on the shoulder. I'm like, okay, what's going on? He's like, we need to talk outside. Like, I'm running a panel and my co-host panelist has been taken out by the same person. Like, guys, entertain yourselves. I need to step out for a second. And I get out there and I'm thinking, oh, is Alkali okay? Like, he didn't come back. Like, is that why you're here to get me? He's like, oh, Alkali's fine. Apparently, during the course of this panel, an individual up on the 4th floor decided he wanted to redecorate. What's this, the light fixture? Poof. Oh, I don't like this one either. Poof. Was literally punching light fixtures on the 4th floor. Our convention chairman, Roxas, had a room on the 4th floor. He hears, what the heck is going on? Looks out into the hallway and sees, and goes, whoa, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? And the guy turns around, looks at Roxas and goes, I don't like you either, and tries to hit the con chairman. Roxas is a huge fan of wrestling. He knows every move that exists. He could be a wrestler if he wanted to. I don't know.
I do know the name of the move he used. The Atomic Chairman.
He did some sort of weird wrestling flip, throw you through the ceiling and back down again, and then land on the floor move. And apparently...
Not apparently.
Meanwhile, all this is going on, and people are calling down to the 4th floor. We need Dorset on the 4th floor. Someone attacked the chairman. And this is being explained to me downstairs like, wait, is Roxas okay? What's really going on? Oh, not a problem. Roxas is sitting on him. Are subduing him because like he couldn't get out of Roxas's death grip. So the chairman's just like...
I were subduing who at that point?
They pulled Roxas off him and had me holding him down.
Alkali was called up to assist and was holding the individual down. And just,
Would you like me to?
Would you mind finishing the story?
The gentleman in question had decided that was the night he was going to truly let loose, because we've all been drunk before, but let's let something dissolve on our tongue. Oh. Now, once a 6'8" fat man puts his hand down on your back and slowly and calmly tells you, stay perfectly still. Especially if you just let something dissolve on your tongue and you see this face and this hat, you listen.
Oh my God, the ghost of Jewish Abraham Lincoln!
And 20 years ago, he laid perfectly still. They asked him questions. You know how stories like this go. And it would have been a great way to end it right there, but finally, they got him to tell them what room he was in, which was right down the hall. And there was only one officer on site. There was the door said it was us. We cleared the hall. They had me lift him up and bring them back over to the room so they could figure out what's going on. And the officer rapped on the door. The door opened slightly, and then slammed closed in the officer's face, and the toilet immediately started flushing. The con did not go well for that room. But the part of that, and I'll make this fit, the part of that I'll always remember is, I want to tell that story, the quick version again, from somebody else's viewpoint. The financial director came into a panel room and took me out of it. I was stumbling because, yes, I had been drinking. The same gentleman came back in and took him out of it. The panel let out, and there was an ambulance waiting downstairs. The rumor went out that I died. I was so confused the next day. So many hugs. Oh, thank God! Like, that's right, finally!
I was born 7 years ago. Oy, babe, what a day that was. Okay, I got an idea. Let's do a round. Not around, but around. I'm going to start, and we're going to go this way.
I'm already around.
Every one of us. We're just going to offer to our friends out here things that hotels have tapped us on the shoulder and told us we found in rooms. I'll start. How about the bed disassembled and reassembled into a complex fort?
A legitimate, drilled into the ceiling and floor stripper pole.
Is that mine?
I don't remember, but I used it
It
anyway.
happened to both of our guys!
I think it
Yes!
Okay. How about the intricate pyramid Mayan style of pizza boxes?
You go.
Mr. Smith, that room party that we shut down last night, yeah? It's still going on. It's new.
I'm trying to think of it. I don't have any.
You haven't been in the business very long, so.
No.
Okay,
Not that I
how
have tolls
about
anyway.
the 25 soda cans super glued to the ceiling?
40 ping pong balls, 40 mouse traps, and a bunch of giggling people.
How can you top that?
But he's going first.
How about
Saving one
the
more.
pentagram burned into the carpet?
Oh, I love you at this con. You haven't done this shit yet. Damn it, I said yet. Pardon my language.
Mr. Smith, who will be responsible for the TVs? Plural.
You guys never tell me any of this stuff that happens.
So innocent.
I'm Canadian. We can't do that at Pandez's con. He'll apologize for us doing it.
How about the bed sheet with the pile of melted chocolate bars? But it was not melted chocolate.
Doesn't your con have a chocolate dish?
Not anymore.
Is there a pudding?
No. All right. I'm sorry to pull out the trump card. I really am. Mr. Smith, I'm going to need you to do something about the people in room blank. Oh, well, how can I help you? They're playing a game and we don't much appreciate it. What game? They're playing Hide the Dildo. It's not what you think. You see, they had taken the dildo and stuck it to the wall, and when the cleaning lady came in, it poked her in the eye.
Around what you
Conway, we've had a telephone call from the 24th floor of the U.S. Steel Tower, which faces the 24th floor of the Westin. They would like the gentleman to pull the drapes.
Mr. Smith, we had a call from Samuel Conway. He wants you to open the drapes on 15th.
You made that up.
It might be from the future.
This is astonishing. It's adorable.
Give it 3 years.
You have to remember, Des is possibly the nicest con chairman. He really, like, when you really get to know the gentleman, it's like kicking a puppy if you tell him bad things. You don't want to kick the puppy, you just don't tell him shit. We call him on Monday, and all of us are in on the phone call, but only one of us talks like, hey, guess what else happened that we didn't tell you about?
There was the fursuit maker that spent the entire day creating a fursuit, which tends to generate a lot of scrap. And the phone call from the room, operations from the housekeeper. Would you send someone up there? It looks like a cat exploded. Oh, there's many more that we're even afraid to tell you.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
Oh, yeah, because you might do them. we read it. Don't get us wrong. We're human beings. Every once in a while, because we get a report. It's a full report of every incident from the hotel and from the door side.
Wait, we're supposed to get that?
Well, we don't give it to you. Every once in a while, you read it, it's like, holy hell! That sounds awesome! How did they get that much bacon up there?
It was not awesome when the frantic telephone call came to send security up because the maid had been frightened by the emergence of a 6-foot Komodo dragon from under the bed. A real one. A 6-foot monitor lizard, which the gentleman explained was his emotional support animal. No, your emotional support lizard may not come to my con, okay?
Your emotional support lizard may not. I think that might be my favorite line of the night.
Looking at the con standards of conduct, we have had to add that line to it.
Hotel lizard claws. Des, speaking of clauses, we promised a lot of you throughout the weekend that we would tell you some convention horror stories today. I know that we've been saying, oh, we'll tell that at convention horror stories, but when you get up onto the stage and just constantly drink, you blank. So,
No, you blank, son.
you drunk, man, old shit.
He's so cute.
I know, did we tell this at, what, the charity?
Did we?
The insurance story?
Yes, he's told the insurance story.
Should we tell the insurance story? Did we tell the insurance story earlier?
Yes, the insurance story is out there.
Okay, that's already out there.
Is this for charity?
Escalator.
This one's Escalator?
What is it?
Escalator! That's the one! This gentleman had me help him with his fursuit parade this year.
There was a reason.
Yeah.
2 reasons. We turned our fursuit parade into a city festival. Our fursuit parade goes outdoors. How lovely, how fun. But last year, when I was watching people come out, I started to think, we're gonna need a gatekeeper, because the people of Pittsburgh were displeased with the gentleman with the Confederate flag, and I didn't see their reaction because I myself was hiding when the Zentai gentleman came down, you know what I mean? The ones in the spandex head to toe? This gentleman apparently knows what Zentai is, but doesn't know what a codpiece is. Because he was pointing the way when he came in. Oh my God!
Big happy
He
dog.
was really excited to be in the first.
Oh, yes, together. Oh, you could tell from 50 feet away.
Really?
So I enlisted Alkali here. We were basically at the top of the escalator for the purpose of saying, you know. But to the credit of the fursuit community, we did not have to ask anybody to stand up. We did have to tell people, that's it, no, left, right. Okay, this is not rocket surgery. There are 2 escalators. If you're backed up with this one, go down the other one. It's like, why can't these people fucking figure this out? Go down that one. Oh, Jesus
The
Christ.
frustration level climbing, it was glorious, especially watching him when we started one escalator, the other, what, by the end, I don't care if you're maiden, you'll meet at the bottom, in hell! And I'm just looking over and I'm like, you tell him.
Which is what it became. Because, okay, rule number 1 in the fursuit parade, don't stop. Don't stop. If somebody wants a picture, don't stop. And if a family grabs their 4 little girls and pushes them out in front of you, okay, stop. But, okay, we're going to work on that for next year. But when the parade stopped, at one point, I don't know what instinct caused me to look over my shoulder down the stairs at the bottom of the escalators. The stoppage had reached the escalators, which were continuing in a downward direction. And the fursuiters reached the stoppage, and I was seeing the fursuiters basically backpedaling on the escalators. What was it we said? Oh yes, stop!
Oh, stop! And that's how you can tell that he's a professional and I'm still an amateur, because he stopped at, stop! I, trying not to incite a panic, but stop or you'll die! He's better at this than I am.
They stopped. Yeah, we got a couple of improvements.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress.
Everyone's a work in progress.
Okay, we've been doing it for 20 years. I'd like to think we've got something figured out by now.
We don't know what, but something is definitely figured out.
Okay, this is a con. It's not the pyramids of Giza, all right? I think we get the damn thing done.
Here's the thing, though, like every year you've got new people coming out and a greater number of people, and all of a sudden you've got a number of fursuiters that are bigger in attendance than just the full attendance of other conventions. So.
Yeah.
And don't forget the bigger fursuiters, legitimately, like guys who
Oh,
dress like
seriously?
bowling balls and can't fit down the escalator.
Like me out of suit. Anyway. Now?
Des,
We're on stage.
you are in shape, round as a shape.
I'm totally in love with Siku back there.
No.
That's the big goofy back there. He's like, I'm a goofy.
I think that's probably one of the best parts about running a fur con. No matter how bad it gets, your board of directors knows what your favorite animal is, and when you're finally there, when your head is on its way to your hands, ready to cry, they bring in that fursuiter. The last thought before you pass out from exhaustion and depression is, aww.
On three, all 3 of us, we're going to show them the chairman fingers.
Gotcha.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. These are the chairman fingers. Sometimes they go across like this. Yeah, okay. His are like this. Mine go like this. Cheetah, your references are like right across the eyes. Takaza used to do like this.
Yeah, Keith,
Yep, the guy at the New York Con, his are like. Chairman fingers.
Yep.
By the way, be nice to see Coop. Not only is he a cute puppy, that's one of our fighting men in there. Hi. Why why is this so? Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
I see. I got the order wrong. Kawa. Momokawa. Momokawa.
Kawabunga.
I made a funny.
Momokawa. Momokawa is Japanese. It is Japanese for keep your fucking hands off. It's mine.
It's supposed to be shared with alkali too.
Then it's not called Momokawa.
Oh, alkali cow.
What?
Okay.
Kawa.
What? What? That's Wawa, I don't want it.
Anybody here from the Northeast? You know what Wawa is?
It's a town in northern Ontario, just not outside. Wawa, Ontario, it's pretty cool. They've got like an actual giant statue of the Luna.
Thank you,
which is very
Panda.
impressive.
Useless piece of information.
Google that, it's entirely true.
All right, here's a fun one for us. Let's go back and forth. Because as long as they're discontinued, discontinued radio codes and their actual meaning. You guys obviously know we have to use codes on the radio because all the time there's a hot mic out there, we have to be careful. So we come up with little codes so that you guys don't know that things are on fire. And sometimes it's obvious something's going on. It's like, hey, the drum is down. Like, oh, they obviously spoke in a code. Other times we go the next step and we'll say things like the building's on fire. People hear that like, what does that mean? It's like, it's so much, but it's worse. So, codes and their meanings.
Okay, there are sometimes incidences where you have to handle cash at a convention.
Yes.
Now, we don't want to say the place where the money is. Now, me being an older man who goes back to a different time, a different generation, I thought it would be appropriate to call it the wampum room. Because in the old Western serials of my youth, the American Indians would refer to cash as wampum. So I called it the wampum room. And I walked into the room once, and I walked in and I said, you know, I was all like, I said, how's the wampum? And I turned and looked at the staff member, who was a full-blooded Cherokee. And I kind of stopped, and my brain locked up. It froze, and the first thing it did was it engaged my mouth, and I said, hey, Chief. He didn't come back the next year. I felt so bad.
We had one to go out over the radio in respect for our convention chairman, and it was everyone meet in operations. And all it was the Canadian has stopped apologizing. That was code for go to ops now. Remember any of them, Des?
I'm trying to think. I believe there was one, we need my Lanta in main events because vomit is very acidic, which means we need somebody to deal with somebody who has lost control and vomited.
But that kind of makes sense. That's no fun. We should have had something like, the fire plug is no longer green in room 5. That's how this works. He's new. He hasn't done this a long
The
time.
fire plug is no longer green in room 5.
Well, okay. You come up with one then.
For vomiting?
No. Radio call. That is not okay. If somebody pukes and the radio call is talking about puke, that's not funny.
That's
no,
true. That's true.
No. So, like, what would you give us one?
All right. What's the situation?
Oh, the situation? The situation is we've run out of something in the con suite.
The Kage has backfired.
We no longer have anything to serve for breakfast in the con suite in Chicago.
5 dead. Send backup.
I'm baiting him and he's not taking the bait.
Not a chance in hell.
Tell us about the oatmeal.
I thought this story was dead.
Oh no.
It's never
time.
So sometimes you don't need to be on the board of directors to fuck everything up. Go.
That's in it. Keep talking, keep talking. Do pay no attention to the man behind the...
I was front of house.
Keep talking.
I was front of house lead at MFF for Convention Suite. We had just gotten a brand new Satan. We called
What?
the soda machine Satan because it belonged in hell. We will send it there the day we are done with it. I can't wait to see it burn. The soda machine was so bad it would randomly stop putting the water through the system, so you could just get syrup. One of my favorite moments of it, because you had to reset the system anytime that happened, was a young furry who went over there, went to the Pepsi, put his cup underneath, hit the button, and syrup started flowing out. I saw it, I looked up and was like, oh, let me reset it. And as he's looking at the machine, he exorcised me. His head started spinning and he stared me down, filling his cup with Pepsi syrup. Let go of the button, immediately got diabetes, and while staring me down, walked away. All right, that's what he's drinking. And he needs an exorcist. So, dealing with this machine was one of the most difficult things I ever had to do, and finally I ended up in back of house, in the kitchen area, and Takaza, who's an incredibly good friend of mine, and Woody, who at the time I was just getting to know, they had just sat down to talk to me about Too Much Light Makes the Baby Go Blind, who were showing up soon. And over the radio was coming some nonsense calls. Now it's MFF, it's a very large convention, so usually radio nonsense gets cut down very quickly, so you have your fun while you can. And people were throwing out obvious facsimiles, weird things to say. It's like, oh, we've got a possum in the lobby. The lights have been turned off. And as we're sitting there kind of chuckling to each other, Takaza moved his arm and knocked over a packet of Quaker instant oatmeal. And it hit the floor. The oatmeal is on the floor. Takaza looks at me and goes immediately into cardiac arrest. Woody looks at me and falls backwards, fumbling for his microphone. And I'm confused.
Meanwhile, we hear sirens outside.
The radio silence stops immediately and the door side come in. What is the location of the oatmeal spill? And now, no longer caring, Woody grabs the microphone and goes, bring a broom! All radio chatter cease. Where is the location of the oatmeal? And Takaza is dying. He looks over me, Alkali! Oatmeal's this weekend's code for money! Sorry. The oatmeal is in the bowl. And I handed my radio to Takaza. And I didn't get one back for 2 years. Fucking oatmeal.
At our con store, we had cash registers that are electronic. And one year, the con store guys forgot to, we call it a Z report, that says this is what was sold, and I needed that information for the tax report. I had to go all the way to freaking Pittsburgh, and I had to dig this thing out. I was suffering a back injury at the time. Thank goodness for the Pittsburgh area furries, they came to help out. We had to unpack our storage locker. Predictably, the particular cash register was in a box at the extreme far corner in the back at the bottom. So we hello. We essentially had to unpack the entire storage locker. All I had to do was put the key in the thing and turn it to Z, the Z position on the ABC Z, and then push the amount tendered, and it would go pa-chunk, 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 pa-chunk. There's the report. This is what was sold. So we got the thing out, and I plugged it in, and I turned the thing to Z, and I pushed amount tendered, and the display flashed up this nonsense phrase, "Mott pass." Like, what? Mott? The hell? Mott pass? Guys, you know what this is? Oh, Mott pass. Okay, so let's try clear. And I hit clear, and it said, "Erreur frappée." Oh, wait a minute. I recognize this. That's French. Mot pass, mot pass, password. It wants a password. I don't know what it is. So I called the con-store manager. This was 8 a.m. and he was living in Utah, so it was 6 a.m. his time, sorry. And I said, "Dude, okay, I need the Mott pass." He said, "What?" And I said, "Okay, I have 2 questions. 1, what is the password for the cash register? 2, who taught it how to speak French?" He said, "I don't know what you're talking about." I said, "Okay, listen to me very carefully. It wants a password, and it's speaking French. What do I do?" And he said, "Why is it speaking French?" I said, "I don't know! I don't fucking know! Maybe it's from Quebec! It wants to set up its own distinct society in the corner of the storage locker! I don't know! What is the fucking mud pass?" You ask the Pittsburgh Furries, they'll tell you that's pretty much how it works. And he said, "Try 1. 1. Erreur frappée." I said, "Okay, dude, you run out of chances." He said, "Try 2. 2, click, accept it." Whoa! Write this down, the mod passes 2. That register finally this year, it broke into several thousand pieces. After the stuff crew completely accidentally, maliciously dropped it into the big thing that you know grinds up all it broke.
We did not get video of it.
No video.
Maybe.
And the last thing, there's no video, but as the internal battery shorted and sparked, the very, very last thing that came up was, "Oh, c'est cool!" Somebody speaks French. Help me! We never did figure out who taught it to speak French.
Your cat's got problems, dude.
20 years, my son, 20 years. After 20 years, you've seen it all. Never mind. You've seen much of it after 20 years. And it warms my heart when these young furries come up and say, "Oh, Uncle Kage, I want to start a furry convention." No, you don't.
Yeah, your advice is always so helpful when somebody asks you what they should do if they're going to start a furry convention.
Gee, what did an older man tell you?
I sent an older gentleman an email, "I'm starting a furry convention, I'm an idiot, da-da-da-da-da. What advice do you have for me?" I have it framed in my office right now. It says, "You're a fucking idiot." 24-point font, Times New Roman, you're a fucking idiot. You might as well have used wingdings. I honestly have no idea. Should we have stopped?
Oh, we shouldn't ask them.
8:30.
What?
8:30.
8:30.
Do what now?
According to this, it ends at 8:30.
It's fucking 9:10.
What's in there after this?
Oh, I'm sorry, it ends at 9.
9. Oh shit. Oh, there was a 15-minute window. What's in here after this?
Very few.
Furry feud? They're going to need to set up for
Oh,
Furry
they are.
feud.
They
So,
are.
guys, we want to thank you very much for this, guys. At any convention that you see on the remember, be part of the stories. Volunteer.
Don't be the subjects of the story.
Some freedom wall.